Thank you, Fresno. Thank you, Oakland. And we're back here in Los Angeles. So, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Michelle Newell with the Children's Defense Fund, who will come up and say a few words.
Hello, everyone. It is great to be here, and I'm honored to start off the Los Angeles part of this rally. And I really just appreciate the opportunity to connect with cities across the state so that we can really come together and collectively work to solve this problem. For those that don't know, the Children's Defense Fund, or CDF, is a national child advocacy nonprofit, and we're committed to ending the cradle-to-prison pipeline that gives African-American boys born in 2001 a 1 in 3 chance of ending up in prison, and Latino boys born in 2001 a 1 in 3 chance of ending up in prison. And we at CDF and the Dignity in Schools Coalition believe that a huge part of dismantling this pipeline to prison is ensuring that our schools help level the playing field for kids and not make things more unfair. And we are part of the Dignity in Schools campaign, the LA chapter, which includes all of these very, very impressive groups in the room that have been leading this work in Los Angeles for some time. And this includes the Youth Justice Coalition, it includes Cadre, Public Counsel, Strategy Center. And we're all here doing this work because we believe that education is a human right that we must stand up for, and we believe that this right to a quality education is being violated here in Los Angeles, just as it is in all of the other cities that have shared already. Just to outline some of the sort of serious push-out issues we are facing in LA, and I'll be brief because I want to really turn it over to the young people to really talk about what's happening in their schools. But Los Angeles has the largest school police department in the country, and it also has the largest juvenile justice system in the country. And we don't think these two things are a coincidence. We, here in LAUSD, per pupil spending is less than $10,000 a year, while the cost of incarcerating a young person is roughly $125,000 a year in a county probation camp and over $200,000 in a state juvenile justice facility. Students who are late to school, as Dr. Ross talked about, in Los Angeles can be ticketed, literally just a few minutes late, can be ticketed, fined, handcuffed, searched, have to miss several days to go to school, to go to court, they have to miss several days of school. And all of these things, we don't think that these are the right investments, and these type of policies are really just funneling our young people away from an education that they deserve and into prison. And so as the students and parents and Dignity in School colleagues that are going to speak next will really detail, in Los Angeles, as a coalition, we strongly feel that we must move beyond the policing of schools as our primary way to create safety in schools, that we must embrace alternatives to suspensions and expulsions and readily implement school-wide positive behavior support, that we must stop criminalizing truancy and tardiness and instead address the root causes impacting school attendance, that we must hold our schools accountable, that we must hold our schools, police departments, and other institutions accountable for collecting and sharing data on discipline and school-based arrests. And lastly, that we just must expect, first and foremost, that our schools are there to prepare our kids for college, not for prison. And so with that, I want to introduce Claudia Gomez from Youth Justice Coalition, who's going to talk about this.
Hello, what's up, you guys? So my name's Claudia Gomez, and I'm an organizer at the Youth Justice Coalition. And when I entered high school, I began to witness and experience the school-to-jail trek. I began to get truancy tickets for just being a couple minutes late. I was bused from South LA to East LA to Bravo Medical Magnet. I got into a fist fight with a girl, and I was automatically suspended instead of being offered anger management classes. I went back a couple months later and got into another fight with the same girl and was expelled for disturbing the peace and using verbal threats. I was forced to be out of school and to find a school that was out of LAUSD. I encountered a lot of problems at other schools simply because I would have to rely on public transportation to Montebello School District's Bell Gardens High School. Coming all the way from South LA, I would get to school late. In addition, I would get tripped on by other students because of hood politics. I was eventually kicked out from there for having so many tardies and encounters with other students. By the middle of my sophomore year, I didn't have a school to go to, and I had given up on school. I just didn't want to go to school, even though I really deeply loved to learn. I was a valedictorian of my 8th grade class, but had a lot of dreams that were taken away because school administrators couldn't provide me with services I needed. And all the time I was struggling with anger management and transportation issues, no one ever asked me what they could do to help. My schools never even knew that my older sister had been murdered by her boyfriend and my other sister shot by him right in front of me when I was only 12. I was dealing with all of that pain by myself. I'm very proud to say that eventually I enrolled in City of Angels Independent Studies program and graduated in 2008 with my high school diploma. Now with every day that goes by, our schools are looking more and running more like prisons, to the point where it seems as though youth are going to school to get prepared for lockup and not college. There are more school police and probation officers on campus now than there are counselors, not only here in the LAUSD, but across the whole country. School administrators are making cops and metal detectors as much part of the school day as teachers and textbooks. So-called zero-tolerance disciplinary policies are and have already transformed campuses into hostile territory, alienating communities and pushing vulnerable students to give up on our education. To youth in poor communities like ourselves, the school day is often an extension of the crisis that's going on in our neighborhoods, where violence, drugs, unemployment, and police abuse surround our streets and homes. Expulsion rates are very high, suggesting that our schools are dealing with problem students simply by just erasing us. Nationwide, about 3.3 million students are suspended from school every year. In many cases, a school fight or a conflict with a teacher is enough to put a child's education on hold. The Youth Justice Coalition is proud to be a part of the National Dignities in Schools campaign to end harsh disciplinary policies that push students out of school and to adopt positive alternatives that protect students' human rights to education and dignity. Education with Dignity recognizes the school as a community and education as a human right, not just a cycle of tests and punishment. At the Youth Justice Coalition, we're graduating in record numbers. Students that have been pushed out of school to the streets and prisons are finally getting a chance at an education, a chance to walk the stage they thought they would never be on. And in addition to that, YJC youth leaders have worked hard to push schools, school districts, and school police to make the following changes that will make schools safer, keep more youth in school, and end the school-to-jail track. One would be to end the use of truancy tickets, tardy sweeps, and tardy rooms. We have been able to get new policies by the LAPD and LASPD to reduce truancy tickets and will hopefully end expensive fines by this year. Also hold down security in the community before and after school with safe passage programs and restorative justice led by peacekeepers and community-based organizations, and replace police and schools with intervention workers. Also, make sure that every young person on probation or parole and all youth coming home from lockup are immediately enrolled in a quality education program, and end the illegal blocking of system-involved youth from schools and entire districts. Also, to end the use of the gang database that permanently labels us as monsters. Instead of spending public money to handcuff children, school districts, lawmakers, and police should invest in alternatives to suspension, arrest, and incarceration, including transformative justice to solve conflicts and repair harm, supportive counseling and drug programs, and positive opportunities for troubled youth. Just 1% of the law enforcement budget in LA County would give us $100 million a year for 25,000 youth jobs, 50 comprehensive youth centers open year-round for recreation, education, job training, the arts, and other supports, and 500 full-time intervention workers building peace in our schools and streets. Educators and elected officials should open their eyes and recognize that even in the toughest neighborhoods where youth face closed doors almost everywhere they turn, school should be the one place where we feel welcome. Caps and gowns, not jail cell bound. Thank you. Who are we?